Hello guys, welcome to another video on this channel. We had one in 10 years finally the other day. I've just been talking for 3 minutes and realised my mic was muted, by the way, so I'm doing this intro twice now. Just fucking annoying. But yeah, I did a 2025 WWE review. I didn't know what channel I would upload it to, whether I did it to my gaming channel or this, which is just my old school casual channel. That I never bothered uploading anything to, bar one FIFA video. Or should I create a new one? I just decided there's no point creating a new one when I have one there. It's kind of just fresh, if you like. So I decided during that one to do a review, had a lot of fun with it. Went on a while, but it was a whole year review, and a lot happened, to be fair. Most of it bad, not gonna lie. I think WWE in 2025 was pretty poor, but in 2026, so far, so good. Because we are reviewing the Smackdown episode of the 2nd of January 2026 today. And I had a lot of fun with the show. It was in Buffalo, New York. First 3 hour show as well. That was the other big news today. That we knew in advance of the show. And the thought, really, in my 2025 review, a lot of the time I spent talking about how at the end, at least, I talked about what I would do and where they should go to improve 2026. One of them was call-ups. They need to flesh out this roster, man. If they were, they were struggling to make an engaging and exciting 2 hour show. I think they took a lot of steps in the right direction tonight. Yeah, I've been very critical of SmackDown and Road Dogg and whoever else is involved in the production there of the last year or so. So credit where it's due. I think they are making the right moves. And hopefully that continues. This could just be a one show bounce. First 3 hour show, first show of the year, let's put all effort in and then kind of die down after that. But it doesn't seem like it because we've got a hell of an event next week as well when they're in Berlin. We'll get to that when the time comes. Just quickly want to say, uh, I wasn't sure how to go about this. I'm not a wrestling YouTuber. I don't have aspirations to be that. I'm very much a casual fan. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of document my thoughts on stuff. I've been thinking about it for quite a long time. I don't really have as much a nice means of doing this. And I'll talk quickly about like production problems, I guess, that stand in the way now. This is more a long-term thing. I think my plan now is probably starting from next week. I'll do this every week after SmackDown, I think, and I'll recap every show, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. So this episode will be a lot longer because I'm just concentrating on SmackDown. I'm going to do more a play-by-play, segment-by-segment review. I'm not going to go too much into the match review stuff because I'm no wrestling commentator. I don't even know the names of all these moves, these generic moves. And it's hard to just watch and write the shit down. All these reviewers, I guess, what they do, because I've watched some of them this year, I try and kept my finger on the pulse of the wrestling world's opinion on stuff this year. But I'll quickly wrap this up because I do just want to get into the review now. It's difficult to write notes and watch it when you're watching it on your laptop. Over the last year, that's what I've been forced to do, basically, because found a site which streamed direct from Netflix, and I was watching every show, every pay-per-view, everything through my laptop. But now on the TV, I have something called the Formula Box, which allows you to, it still uses the internet, allows you to stream, I could stream the USA Entertainment section on USA Network's direct production of SmackDown, for example. Raw is a little different because there's a live event page, and I guess because there's no US channel that naturally shows Raw, that Raw everywhere worldwide is just pure straight to Netflix. That one is shown live, so that one is ad free. Well, my God, watching this tonight. I started obviously watching on USA Network because it was on the TV and I could keep my laptop open and just make some notes as I went along. Holy shit! I have a newfound sympathy and respect and just disbelief at what the American audience has to go through watching this shit. The amount of outbreaks is fucking insane. I mean, I already knew it's bad, but you get like double the amount that you get on Netflix as an international viewer, which is what I was used to. It's kind of a mixed bag, really, because Raw I can't find at all. This Formula Bots. Sorry, NXT I can't. So I'm going to go from watching on Raw, which is basically ad free, and I can make notes like a piece of paper, to NXT, where I'm probably going to have to watch the show like a fan, then watch it back and make notes. And then SmackDown, I can kind of keep it on both screens. And whenever it goes to an ad on USA Network, I can just put the headphones in, log back into the site, choose Netflix stream, and watch ad free in subparts. Netflix isn't totally ad free internationally, but yeah, it's a lot better than USA Network. So I think what I'm going to do is, because that's just too tiresome to do. I haven't got the time or commitment to do that, and I'm not always going to be watching every show, even. And to be honest, I intend to do that this week. I was going to just review Raw, NXT, and SmackDown as well. But for example, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't watch Raw and NXT properly this week. I had it on the background. I was just doing other stuff. TLDR started Pokemon ROM hack, got really into it, and we just had it on as background noise while I was playing. Well, I finished that ROM hack now, so. This SmackDown I did watch seriously. First 3 hour show, first show of the year. It was kind of big. So without further ado, let's hop into it. But yeah, sorry, I'll just say in future that is what I'll do. Though I think I will do a weekly show probably around this time. Like I'll film it directly after SmackDown or the one after. I mean, I'm British. It's 20. It's not 4:20. 4:22. Um, I'm in night mode at the moment. I may not always be up so late. You know, it's a 3 hour show now. It doesn't finish at 3 a.m. It finishes at 4 a.m. It's pretty rough. So maybe it'll be like of a Saturday night or something. I'll review it. I'll review all the shows, and it wouldn't be as in detail then, um, because I'm covering 3 shows. How long will I be talking for? Covering 3 shows, but I'll touch upon like the main takeaways, the main moments, the flashpoints, my thoughts on each show. SmackDown came from Buffalo, New York tonight. Um, we began with, I'm not going to lie, actually, bad start, I guess, to review these shows. I missed the first few minutes. The Miz was on. I'd say I missed like the first 5 minutes because I was making a cup of tea and finishing a smoke outside. The extender came up and realised I missed the first 5 minutes. I was like, oh, fuck. Stuck it on. The Miz was talking. So I'm like, all right, I didn't miss too much. That's harsh. I don't mind the Miz. He's still a legend, but yeah. I don't know what he's talking I also actually, again, not a great start. My God, you'd probably like review it. This guy's production's fuck, and it kind of is. But it's the only time this happened. The Formula Bots, even like I said, it does still work through the internet connection, and it is winter, I guess. It froze at one point, about 2 minutes into the Miz's speech that I'd seen. So it's about 7 minutes into the show, and it stopped for like 5, 10 seconds, and in there, like, is it going to fix itself? All right, go channel up, channel down. Right itself. Randy Orton's immediately on screen. I was fucking so annoyed. This is one of the things I talked about in what I would in my 2025 review on this channel as to what I would do more of in 2026 to recruit. You have these big names. I get Randy Orton's in his late 40s, but man, he's a big star. He needs to be on the fucking show more. If it takes paying him up to get more dates, fucking do it, man. Just get him on. So great to see him back. I'm really happy he's returned. I'm not gonna lie, I did expect it. Um, but not where it came. I'll talk about this more in a bit. I thought, um, well, I'll talk about that, I guess. Kit Wilson rested later on the show. I thought maybe Randy Orton would come back and be the surprise opponent to him. Instead, we got a different surprise opponent, which we'll cover later. Yeah, a little annoyed that the actual return, that there's music coming on and stuff, got ruined effectively. I was only away from it for 10 seconds. It must have literally froze just before he came on, so maybe Formula's a big Randy Orton fan. It shit the bed when he came out. Yeah, he comes out. Miz carries on talking, basically trying to big himself up to Randy. He's bigging Randy up as well. Almost like trying to sell a team up. He said to him at one point, should we run Miz KO or something? Then Randy just immediately fucking RKO's him. Of course he did. Everyone knew it was going to happen. The shirt even says RKO anywhere or everywhere, wherever the fuck it was. So yeah, everyone knew that's coming. Why else would a heel be in there? I suppose Miz has constantly taken L's on these shows. So it's one of the reasons why we do them. Because he's a veteran who is not afraid to be the butt of the joke or take the fall, I guess. Uh, but as far as I'm aware, yeah, I don't think Randy even said anything after that, did he? I guess he didn't need to. The RKO does the talking for him. That's what he's about. It's the Viper. He comes in, he does that, he gets off. He did say something to me shortly after, to be fair. But first, after he left, we had Io Sky. In fact, no, sorry, we had Kabuki Warriors and Nia and Lash had a backstage segment. They were involved in a 4v4 tag match that I'm not going to lie. I'm going to talk about why. This was probably the most disappointing part of the show for me. It was the thing I was expecting would be my favourite part of the show, and ended up being my least favourite part of the show, which is some doing. I praised the Smackdown tag, women's tag division over the last few months in that review. I think it's been excellent. I think, if anything, they've maybe moved too many stars over there. You have Rhea, Nia, and Bailey in there, Charlotte and Alexa. You have Massacre in there. You have Liv is kind of in the mix for there now, and then a series of great superstars as well, like Lyra, Kyrie, etc. This match was predicated by this interaction. The Kabuki Warriors are backstage, Nia and Lash approach, and I knew I was good to go. They say, oh yeah, we'll team up, we'll take down the baby faces, but then we're coming for that title. They have a little back and forth. Asuka basically says, kind of sneer at them at first, and then says, yeah, sure, fine. After this, after we smash Rhea Neo on Monday, we'll beat you too. It follows by Io's entrance, followed by Rhea's, which got a monster pop. It's probably the biggest pop of the night, honestly. But I mean, it happens. Rhea is always getting pops. So I'd say her and Alexa are like tied for pops in the women's division. Well, we don't know that actually, because then we had a commercial. And this is where it began, and it really fucking pissed me off. Because I'm not used to watching it on the TV or via USA Network. I'm just not used to so many fucking commercials. God damn. I don't know if this took a commercial on the Netflix broadcast either, because I didn't have my laptop ready at this point. It didn't occur to me to make notes at this point. But I loaded the laptop up because I was like, oh shit, yeah, like so this shit has ads like ridiculously amount I've heard. So I'll load the shit up. Anyway, by the time it comes back, we'd missed. In fact, first and foremost, it cut to Cody and Randy backstage. So we did hear from Randy. Didn't say too much. Obviously, they greet each other warmly. They go way back. I think everyone's been waiting for an actual feud between them. They had the match at King of the Ring, of course. It was King of the Ring final. Just decent match, but still, there's a lot to tap into there. And Randy ain't getting any younger, man. He may only have a year or two left. I'm sure they're going to do it at some point. But I don't buy that they're going to do it as soon as they would like you to have believed to do. Maybe they do. I might be wrong. Randy basically approached Cody, so yeah, it's good to see you. I'm going to take that title off you once you beat Drew next week. I'll be there waiting. I could see that happening, I guess, if, and it's a big if, Cody does beat Drew. You might think it should be the other way around. It's the big if is if Drew's going to win. But I just don't. I'm going to talk about this more later. Put it this way, I don't see how Drew can take a loss here and recover from it. So, yeah, I'll talk about that more when it gets to that segment. But after that little segue, it cut back to the ring, and we'd missed Alexa and Charlotte's entrance, so we don't know who got the biggest pop. Did any of them get bigger pop than Rhea? Who knows? We'd also missed the Nine Lashes entrance, and we were just getting the tail end of the Kabuki Warriors entrance. Now, why this match disappointed me is mostly not their fault. I just don't think they were given enough time. I cannot believe how little time they were given. At the end of the day, if you make a eight a match involving 8 people, it's you kind of need a longer run time. It wasn't egregiously short. It felt like about 10 minutes or so. But there just wasn't much time for them to do much. It really annoys me as well in because I'm constantly flipping back and forth from whenever there's an ad break on the fucking TV version of USA Network. Oh, I'll have to refresh the Netflix thing, put my headphones on, turn the volume right back up, watch the Netflix cover during the outbreaks to actually watch the action and so on. And then when I see it back on the TV, calling me I'm a referee, I'll put the headphones back down and watch the TV version, of course. It's only become aware, apparent to me, like how weird the fucking ad break structure is as well. Because literally went from commercial to after Ian Rhea's entrance to come 3 minute commercial. We come back. Randy and Cody do like a 30-second segment. We see the tail end of Kabuki Warriors entrance. And then all the faces kind of stood together, looking at each other in kind of like a cross formation, kind of arguing about who's going to start the match. You know, it's all this shit. Age old. Can they coexist? They're going to argue together. It, it's played out. They did this a lot during War Games build up, and this match was basically a War Games rematch, just with AJ Lee and Becky removed. So I don't like the fact that they did that as well. That's already strike one. I hate to criticize this because I love so many women in this, including my favorite wrestler in the entire company is Alexa Bliss is involved in it. But they did this, and then they all get jumped. Three of them are knocked out of the ring. Io, Charlotte, and Alexa, and Rhea is isolated, kind of surrounded by the 4 women who start beating her down. Then Rhea starts the match with Asuka. Rhea eventually does enough to fight off them, and the only one who's got up on the apron by that point is Alexa. She gets tagged in, and it's fucking commercial break. It's like they've been back for about 3 minutes after a 3 minute break before, straight into a commercial break. Bro, like I finally understand the reviewers who I've watched over the year. I've watched bits and pieces of kind of all of them. There's none of them I really watch consistently. I don't have much opinion. I don't really hate or dislike others or love any of them over and over. I just kind of like watch them all to get a gauge of what each of them think of. But all of them complained about the breaks. And boy, are they right. It's crazy that as an international view, you don't notice it as much, and it's something I'm talking about so much in this episode because it's not something I'll talk about much again. But you know, for the first that I'm doing, it was really fucking jarring, man. So we missed basically 3 minutes of this match. I'm fumbling trying to get the feedback, and it never could. It just wouldn't refresh, and that site went down my laptop. So I basically missed all of that. By the time it comes back to it, Lex has been tagged up, which again, that has already set me in a bad mood because my favourite person in the match, I saw nothing of basically. Her actual stint in the ring. I don't know what the fuck she did. I don't know what happened. She was in with Nia, I think, when it came back, and then managed to get tagged out. I think Charlotte came in after that, got a hot tag, and started clearing house a bit. In terms of the play-by-play of the matches, I'm not going to go too much into detail, as I said. Just talk more about like spots that stood out for me. I think the only one I'll go into serious details probably the and maybe Miller. Yeah, Lash. At one point, EO came in and kind of stopped cleaning house. She was, she's just great. Like, Michael Cole at one point said, "Oh, I say this a lot. Pound for pound, best wrestler in the world." Here wrong, man. EO just delivers when she comes in. She has this athleticism. She's just fun to watch. She does a springboard drop kick on both Asuka and Kari at one point, which just looked fucking amazing. And then she does a flip and all that shit. She does an emote. She emotes in the ring. But then Lash come in off a springboard again and kicked her. And they showed a replay of this. Boy, did this look good. straight to the chin. And Io sold the shit out of it. Io's a great seller. Honestly, I would say the two best sellers in the entire company probably are Io and Rhea, who are on the same team. So looking forward to that title match on Monday. We'll kind of preview next week a bit more at the very end, I think. That's gonna. I don't remember Lash being in this match at all. Besides that, honestly, because as I said, this match just felt so short. I'd only just started making notes at this point as well, so I honestly, I genuinely don't remember much else from this match to talk about, like spots and stuff. But towards the end, Alexa came in, did a strap girl DDT to Asuka. I think Charlotte had done a moonsault at some point on was it Lash actually? And she kicked out. Anyway, in the end, Rhea gets in. There's the riptide to Kyrie. Io does a moonsault, the over the moonsault to Kyrie, and predictably, Kyrie takes the pin. Not a huge Kyrie fan. I like her. You know, I think you can't help but like her. She just exudes charisma. She's just likable. She's very much like Io in that regard. But I think she does have sloppy moments. When she came back, I might have talked about this in 2025 review, I'm not sure. When she came back in like May, I think she was kind of sloppy until about August. And then Asuka and her teamed up again, and since then she's been great. She still has some moments. I saw a video clip the other day. I know in the holiday tour, which was a series of house events they've done just before New Year, the match they kept running was a tag title match. It's Alexa and Charlotte versus Ricky Warriors. And she did a quick roll up pin of Charlotte one night to get the win. Charlotte's turned around to chase her, and you could see her laughing. But saying to Carrie, roll out the fucking ring. You have to kind of flee and Carrie catches on, rolls out, and she's laughing. So yeah, kind of a sloppy moment in that. But Carrie does not deserve to be the one who always takes the fucking pin, man. It's ridiculous. I swear she always takes pin to the point where I was actually on X earlier on today. I'll still call it Twitter because I'm doing it. I was on Twitter. And someone literally said under like the WWE preview of this, Kyrie takes the pin. Road Dog doesn't give Kyrie the pin. No, doesn't make Kyrie take the pin. Challenge failed times 5 or something like the last few months. And it's so true. Yeah, poor Kyrie. She takes the pin here. Bayface team continues to dominate that heel team. They did that in the build-up match in the setup match for War Games. They won War Games and then they won this one. Another reason why I'm really annoyed about this match, in terms of the actual in-ring action, I think it was fine when it was on. I think the commercial timing kind of ruined the hype to the entrances and the start of the match, and especially my favourite person in the match's involvement in it. But there wasn't enough time to tell all the women to do much. What little time they were given, I thought they did well in. But where I don't like this was the result. I think the heels should have won this because it's ridiculous when I say it like that. They constantly take defeat, especially the Kabuki Warriors. Since they won those belts, unless we not forget, they won it via shenanigans. Nia and Lash won it for them just to fuck with Charlotte and Alexa, who they were more beefing with at the time. Since they've done that, have they won anything? They just take defeat for defeat, man. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, at what point are you going to give your champions a win? That's why I'm hoping they do actually win it on Monday. Yeah. We'll preview next week at the end of the set, but it's just annoying me. I was hoping as well that going into this match, the fact that this was made and that we have seen a case for the other teams to get a title match, I was hoping this would result in a four-way corners match on Monday, in the stipulation being changed by Nick Aldis. They could have done like a screwy ending or something, or where they're all kind of arguing and it all just breaks down into shit. And then all this comes out. I was like, oh, I've spoken to Pierce and we're going to change this for Monday. I didn't really see why the match was made at all. Why did this match have to exist tonight? I guess it got big names on the show. A lot of these names are the biggest names in the women's division, full stop, let alone the tag division. But it kind of served no end game purpose. It made the champions look weak because one of them took the pin again. Um, Io is the one who picked it up as well. She's one of the challengers coming up. And then Alexa and Charlotte and Nia and Lash were just kind of spectators. They were in and out of the match, of course, but weren't involved in the finish at all. And they're not in this upcoming match. So it's just keep them fresh in mind as the next challengers. I don't understand it. Charlotte and Alexa had a valid complaint, as I said, because they were the champions who lost to a screwy finish, or interference, should I say, and they never got a rematch. And Iron Lash had a case because they beat the Kabuki Warriors a few weeks ago. Another one of the many defeats the Kabuki Warriors have taken. That was on SmackDown. Who took the pin? You guessed it, Kyra. I, just, I didn't see the point in this, man, at all. And I'm not done with criticising this tonight as well. And I hate the fact that the very first kind of week by week show I'm going to do this year is me criticising a lot of these women because I said I love a lot of them. The women's side of the show is my favourite part usually. I think the women carry the fuck up the company in 2025. But tonight, yeah, I just didn't like a lot of what came of it, and they're going to have another segment later on, which I thought was awful as well. So yeah, the match for Monday remains Rhea and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors. After that tag match, I think there was probably another outbreak. It cut to more women backstage, but I liked this very much because Nick Aldis was seen talking to Jordan Grace. So it looks like we have another imminent call up to SmackDown. Now, they've kind of been doing this drip by drip in recent weeks. We saw Javon Evans on Raw call himself a free agent. He was, of course, on NXT this week, taking on Ricky Saints. Excuse me, taking on Ricky Saints. But that was pre-taped. Trick Williams had been seen on both SmackDown and Raw. But tonight it was confirmed that he is a SmackDown superstar. Jordan Grace, will she appear on both shows? I don't know. I feel like it's more what show they're going to appear on first is where they're going to end up. In that case, JG is going to be on SmackDown. All the talks about just basically says, we like you, we like your plans. Chelsea Green interrupted with Alpha Fire and basically disrespected her. She was like, yeah, shut up. Champ's talking. She's complaining, of course. She's been a Karen June to Nick Aldis. She said she's not in I love Chelsea. She's not in an emotional state to compete because she's still shook up with the Stranger Things episode. And he was like, yeah, I agree. You're not mentally right. Um, Jordan Grace, her reply, I kind of like. She looked at Chelsea in disdain and was basically like, yeah, people like you are like going to make my decision really easy. She's basically, she just dropped the night. She was sizing up the competition, sizing up the division. So that, we had, so, Kit Wilson came out. Now, one thing I didn't say is when Randy made his entrance, he took about 5 minutes. I feel like his song looped twice, or it started looping. I need to get Maze watching and all that. And I remember, even though I fucking love Randy, it's great to see him. I thought went through my head, is this how they're going to drag the 3 hours of the show up? Are they going to do entrances like this fucking constantly? But at the end of the day with Randy, it's Randy, he's just come back, he can do what the fuck he wants. Kit Wilson comes out. And I'm not going to lie, I'd forgotten there was much set up for this when he first come out last week. He comes out and it's harsh, but my first thought was, oh god, like, is this how we film 3 hours as well? Like, we're going to scour the depths and throw anyone out. no matter if they're not over. Um, I would apologize to him. I thought he did well. This whole thing. He comes out. I mean, his character. I hate it, but you're supposed to, I guess. It's he's obviously playing this woke character of everything that's wrong with modern woke society. He comes out and talks about he hates toxic masculinity. He's the most masculine. He's gonna crush the hierarchy. And all that's bullshit. Um, I don't think, like I said, I didn't really remember at all that this was set up like, from a backstage segment last week with all this. And Trick Williams, was he beefing with? I don't know. He said he's gonna like deal with someone next week. I remember at the time watching it last week, I was thinking maybe this is how Randy returns, which is what I was referencing before. Imagine Kit Wilson has this kind of like unknown challenger. Randy came out and just crushed him and squashed him. Instead, I did not expect this, not gonna lie. Zack Ryder came out, Matt Cardona, and he's back. It was announced as soon as he got to the ring, I think, or maybe once he won, whenever the fuck it was. Either way, Michael Cole announced that he is back on WWE television. They've signed him from TNA, and yeah, very good to see him. I was never a huge watcher during like the Zack Ryder years and stuff, but I know about him. I know that he was kind of someone who got himself over via internet and social media and stuff. So he's obviously very astute because that was very much the way the uh, wrestling world was going. He was ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. He was trying to instigate feuds and heat, but also support through social media. And nowadays they're all yeah. Well, no, a lot of them are. This match, I kind of expected, and again, I'll just get Wilson, I guess. I thought this would be a bit of a squash, a bit of a stomping, but it was kind of competitive for a little while. Kick can't wrestle. And Zack Ryder, obviously, we know he's good. Matt Cardona, he went to the Indies for a number of years and worked there. And he's very much a veteran. There was one spot I thought looked a bit, and it could have gone bad, but thankfully it didn't. Cardona was stood on the middle ropes on the turnbuckle, and then Kick kind of like kicked back of his legs, and I don't think he was supposed to fall as dramatically as he did, but Cardona fell straight back and they could have straight his head, which could have resulted in concussion or something. I, the ref like checked on him, look, I was expecting him to fucking drop to his knees, go right. So I was like, oh shit, man, you alright? No, check his eyes, no. He kind of just like asked him, he was like, you okay? Just give a fuck. Yeah, thankfully he's alright. Anyway, a little back and forth. As I said, there was a decent amount of offense, certainly at the start from Kit Wilson. He was actually doing better of it for the first minute or two. Um, did the tourniquet, which looked kind of a bit like a twist of fates. Almost moved, but Cardona's whole body twisted with it. So it's kind of like a mix of twist and fate and a neck breaker. Strange looking move, but it was kind of cool. Cardona kicks out, then begins to take control of the match. Ends up taking the win with his finisher. And it was a decent crowd reaction. It certainly wasn't as good a reaction as when he had his match against LA Knight in the Cena tournament. But obviously, that was kind of his audition, if you like. That was his opportunity. No matter how well you do in these indie companies, or even in companies that are like prominent over the years, like your TNA, like your Ring of Honor, like your AW. At the end of the day, all these wrestlers, no matter what they may lead you to think, they want to be done. They know it's the big fish. It's the big place to be. It's the end game. It's the end goal. It is the biggest company. And you could see, I think, when he came back for that match against LA Knight, which was a good match, by the way. I think the right person won. I didn't expect Ryder to win that, but he did well. You could see how much it meant to him and how he really did see it as an opportunity and went at it. And I'm glad he's been rewarded for this. You know, it made sense for him to come to SmackDown as well because his wife Chelsea Green is on the show. So good to see him. You know, like I said, this division needs fleshing out, and already in this show, we've seen Randy return, we've seen Jordan Grace teased to be on SmackDown. I'm sure it will be SmackDown. SmackDown's women division needs support, man. I'm going to talk and rant actually about this a bit more later on during our main event. But yeah, this was great to see. I could definitely see him going into US Open Challenge, maybe. I'm trying to kind of rack my brains as to who its first feud could be, its first program and stuff. Um, I don't know. Are they going to pair him with Chelsea? Surely not, because he is a face right now, and Chelsea is also kind of like in allegiance with. I didn't mean that pun. She's in allegiance with Ethan Page, who's in NXT, who is another guy I would love to see on SmackDown. I don't know why he's still in NXT. He's fucking great. But yeah, interesting to see what they do with Ryder. Following this, we had a Damian Priest promo with Kathy Kelly. I just want to say as well, because obviously in my 2025 review, so not so much though. I didn't have time to go into some of the smaller details of the show and production and my thoughts on them. And it's not something I'll talk about every week. But considering it's the first show of the year and maybe the channel, uh, I'll say I really appreciate and like the broadcast team that they have nowadays. I think they're great. Love Kathy Kelly. She's good at her job. She's a beautiful woman as well. Love Jackie Redmond. I think she's great as well. Byron Saxton's great. Uh, any other reporters? Forget the name of the one on NXT. She's decent as well. Honestly, there's none of them I dislike. I think Corey Graves is probably the best commentator. He was on tonight with Michael Cole, by the way. But I love Wade Barrett as well. Joe Test sometimes has his moments where I think Sean's a bit monotone, not really excited. But then he explodes into life and he kind of saves it. Booker T and Vic are the best of the bunch, in my opinion, on NXT. Fucking love them. Booker's a bit OTT, of course, but it's Booker T, man. It's all the guys I grew up watching. I fucking love that man. He was someone who, if I met in real life, I would be starstruck. I would be like, oh my fucking god. I would just cap him questions for an hour. Probably annoy the shit out of him. Uh, Priest just, he didn't say too much here. Yeah, I guess he didn't have to. It's some other standard stuff, you know. I'm going to beat up Alistair Black in tonight's match, an ambulance match coming up. And this and that. At the end, he said, you will fade to black. So, nice little pun, I guess. After that, we had a Wyatt promo. Uh, Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas did all the talking as usual. He's talked about what is the meaning of family to you, Solo. Made a reference at one point saying, you're exiled from your real family, i.e. the bloodline. Kind of implying this MFT shit is this construct that he's made. And yeah, he ain't wrong. Yeah, after that, he just said, we're going to take you down. We'll cut the tree down, he said, I think. Just issued a warning to the MFTs. Now, I talked about this, I think, in the 2025 review on how they're making a big deal of these two factions. Just not really working for me. With a 3 hour show, you have an opportunity to have more interactions between them. They didn't do much tonight besides this. And I guess another segment later on, but I wouldn't even count this much. You need more, and a match is already set next week. I don't know, man. Like, it was okay, it wasn't bad, but this promo did nothing for me. Not the Priest one, really, but the main event would go to do that list. So, over to you, Whites and MFC next week, I guess. After this, we had Sami Zayn's music played here out to the ring. I thought the start of this promo was a little awkward. I didn't think the fans were that reactive to it. Actually, at that point of the show, I was thinking, oh god, is this crowd ass? Because they'd kind of been a bit flat since Randy came back. And since the women's match ended, they were kind of flat for a lot of the other stuff. he come out, he started talking about how he hadn't been seen in a couple of weeks. Last time he saw him, he was at ringside. And I knew what he was reacting to him right away. It was John Cena last time was now, so said he was watching it with his son. And the crowd are really quiet for this. And I remember thinking, I was like, I wonder if the crowd are thinking, oh, he's just brought up Cena as a way for like a cheap pop or something. You could see Sammy played with Zip at one point. He looked a little, I think he was starting to get a bit concerned. But then he really kicked into gear and really started to cook. He said, he said his son asked him how many times he'd won the no, that was it. His son asked him why John Cena's never seen 17. Why's he called that? And Sammy said to him, it's because he'd won the championship 17 times. And then he said, Sammy's son asked him, well, how many times have you won it? Inexplicably, my instant first thought of this was of an old story of I think it might have been some documentary on like was it Who Killed WCW documentary maybe? My reminder was of the story of David Arquette when he first won the championship, WCW championship. I say first. He only won it once, fight for. But even that is ridiculous. But yeah, he won the WCW championship because Vince Russo and then was backstage talking about how cool it was to Booker T. And then he said, oh, this is so cool. How many times have you won it, Booker? And Booker looked at him like, never, man. David Arquette was just like flabbergasted. And I think only them really realized, like, oh shit, I should be holding this. Like, how many guys backstage who've been here for years or like veterans and that have never won it stuff. So that line just reminded me of that story, which always kind of makes me laugh as to how fucking tone deaf WCW were. And bless him, David Arquette was a good driver. It wasn't his fault. He was aware enough to be like, yeah, I I need to drop this ASAP. Tommy really fired up after this. And we're talking about, this was a pivotal moment, really. His son saying that to him. And he knows he's talked a lot in the last year about, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to be world champion. It's the only one he's never won. He'd be Grand Slam champion if he wins it. And he got really passionate, really into it. The crowd were getting up for this, talking about how, well, 2026 is going to be his year. He's going to win it, finally. When he was interrupted, boy, did I smile at this. Another thing I said at the end of my 2025 review about how 2026 was looking like could be a better year was because Trick Williams is in the show. I love Trick, man. He is someone because I went so many years not even watching it when we could. I had actually straight up gone a couple of years, excuse me, knowing barely nothing about the product. I didn't know a thing about who Trick Williams was until last year. But over the course of what he did in 2025 in NXT, he did good work in TNA as well. I don't watch TNA, but I'm aware of it. I know he's champion. Trick's great, man. And it's well overdue to call up. As music goes, the first thing I listened out for, same with Obafemi when he came into SmackDown, is are the fans going to know his chant? Are they going to get invested? And are they going to sing along and stuff? I think that's a big thing for a wrestler. Like, sometimes a theme, an entrance, the crowd involvement in it can really just add so much to them. You look at Cody Rhodes, same with him. You look at Seth Rollins, who, funnily enough, Trick Williams looked like he was dressed like he come out in this all white suit, looking like a pimp. He had the heels on it. He looks so OTT. I guess that's his style. And it actually added to it, made me laugh. Yeah, the crowd doing the whoop that trick in between the bass line. I fucking love. I was smiling so wide, man. Really happy for Trick. He's another one like Cardona, who is now on a show with his I would say his wife. He's engaged to Lash Legend now. They got engaged recently, so congratulations to them. And yeah, what an end to 2025 and start to 2026 for them. They got engaged. They both got promoted to main roster. And it looks like WWE are pretty invested in both of them. because he comes out and also got very good promo. I mean, I knew he would. He's always been a good promo. I guess there's always a slight fear of are they going to get to main roster and get stage fright or get overall? This guy's in the ring with Sami Zayn, who's just got good promo, who is one of the biggest names in wrestling really over the last decade. He may never have won the championship, Sami, but he's almost always over. Everyone loves Sami. And he's been involved in a lot of big stories. Well, this guy comes in and just matches him stride for stride. He's talking about how he bigs himself up, as he does. True. It's his character. And he basically put him, Sammy, and everyone else on notice. He said, he's here for the big prize. He wants to win the WWE Championship. And he means business. And he doesn't want to hear anything from Sammy, who's basically all talk. Sammy then said, Trick is. He's seen plenty of people like Trick coming in and out the program, coming out of the roster, the division over the years, who talk a big talk and say they're going to be the next big thing. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. But he's seen many fail. And Trick has many things he agreed with me. He has everything going on. He's a great look. He can wrestle. He's got a promo, etc. But one thing he doesn't have is any humbleness to him. So Sammy promised or assured Trick that he may end up humbling him for him. I thought the way it was going at one point, I thought they were going to maybe agree to a match there and then, which would have been pretty hype. But I don't know if that would have been the step for Trick at that point. Later on, this would be rectified. Because after that, Sammy just left. They kind of had a bit of a stare down. He left. Maybe teasing a future feud though, which I would be very happy for. I'll talk more about what I expect of Trick's future once we come to that next segment, because it is coming up soon. However, after that segment, we had backstage. We had so many segments in between matches. It's kind of crazy. Ilya Dragunov was cut off Carmelo Hayes backstage. They had a banger of a match last week. Melo finally won the US Championship. He finally seems to have broken out, really. And the fans have finally got behind him. I mean, he always had potential. You could see that from the off. And I've watched back a lot of Melo's NXT stuff. It's funny I mentioned Trick, actually, because this will tie in later on. But as much as I love Melo, and I love Ilya, and I love Sammy, this US Open Challenge has to stop, I think. I don't really see how they're going to continue with this. Ilya had stopped Melo and said, look, congratulations, better man won last week. No, I enjoyed wrestling you, but I gave you the opportunity, and, you're about to take on Johnny Gargano for the US Championship. Are you going to continue the Open Challenge after that? And Melo said he is. I don't. I think it's overplayed, man. Ilya just said, "Oh, well, thank you," and basically said, "I'll be waiting." Walked off. He looked like he was dressed like Ludwig Kaiser tonight, by the way. I know it's about these. Could you call Ludwig an Eastern European? He's German. I guess probably not. That's about to say these. I don't know what it is with these Eastern Europeans. Yeah, he had the turtleneck on. He had the blazer and all that. He reminded me of Ludwig a lot. His look tonight, Ilya. Even though the guy looked like a fucking pimp. Maybe it's the snow in Buffalo tonight. Everyone's dressed in all white. But yeah, he walks off, and Melo runs into the Miz, who was so smart from being RKO twice. Twice he got RKO tonight. Melo began to thank the Miz. Miz actually kind of fell for it. He was like, "Oh God, he finally came round." They teamed up, and Miz was always talking about how he's the star and he should be in the spotlight, and kept stealing Melo's pins from him. They kind of had a feud build up for a few months, really. It was actually, well, I'd say a couple of months, not a few months. And it was actually getting pretty good, and then it just ended. Unfortunately, that we didn't really have a payoff for that. Maybe it will come in US Open Challenge. Now, this is where I don't like this. I'll just preface this by wrapping up what happened in the segment, I guess. Mello played a fast one and he said, "Oh no, I'm just thanking you for basically being an asshole and us breaking us up so early because since I finished with you, I've didn't had nothing but success." So, yeah. He basically said, since I've apparently come out from under your shadow, I've excelled. So, go figure. So yeah, good on Mello. Great to see him as champ. US Open Challenge, really, I said this in the review of 2025. It carried SmackDown for a long time. First under Sami, then under Ilya. The concept itself, I have always liked. I guess it's easy to like, I should say, because of the simple fact that anyone could come up and it's just about pure matchables. You can just put two great wrestlers together and make them make a story on the night, and just let them have at it. Give them free reign. The problem is when you run it for 4 months. It's 4 months now. Sami Zayn came back. He moved over to SmackDown. I think it was his second week on the roster, was it? Or maybe even his first. He won the title off Solo Sikoa. Uh, yeah, it was his first week he won off Solo. Fact, it wasn't. It was about his third, but whatever. He won off Solo, and then the week after, he came out to John Cena in his last appearance in SmackDown and talked about how John Cena many years ago began the US Open Challenge. And that was something that really added to John Cena's career, but also helped make a lot of other careers. It was how Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens made their main roster debut. My God, what those two went on to do, both as a team and as individuals. I think it it worked because Sami and Ilya are great wrestlers. I'm not saying Mello's not. Mello's also a great wrestler. But how an open challenge works is you have that thing covered. You also have enough time in between these things. And also you don't have it run too long. SmackDown has a lot of great wrestlers. They don't always have great story, so I can see why they did this. Um, just as a wrestling showcase almost. But the danger was, and I do like that they didn't really do this too much with Ilya and Sami. Sami goes for a lot of opponents. He beat Mel himself, I think. He beat Javon. He beat Nathan Frazier, was it? He beat John Cena, obviously. I don't remember who else he beat. I think he won 6 and lost his 7th. I think Ilya did the exact same, maybe, or won 7, lost his 8th. They were on week in, week out. Where I appreciate is that they didn't always take on the same opponents, because at first it looked like it might be the case of, oh, Ilya's just going to take on everyone who Sami beat now. Well, I mean, Mallow took on Gargano, who Ilya did beat. Who's next? I know the bolster in the roster now. You know, you've got Trick there. You've got Cardona's back, which is why I said earlier on, maybe he will be involved in the US Open Challenge. There are other people there. We saw the return of Ray Phoenix tonight, who's not, as far as I remember, been on one of these US Open Challenges yet. But I just don't see how sustainable this is, man. Been doing it for 4 months. You could bring over NXT talent on, but it also just strikes me as laziness from the writers, because they're too lazy to bother writing a fucking story. Now, where I thought this was going to go, Mello won this last week, is a long-term story with him and Trick, and it will lead to him and Trick having a match at WrestleMania. As I said before, they have a long history together in NXT. They came up and through together. They had a match at Stand and Deliver 2024, which is still one of my favourite entrances ever. Trick's entrance and the whoop that Trick on his entrance, swag and all that shit. He always gets lost. Finding the ring as well, the start. And then it was just a banger match. I still think they could maybe do that. You know, it's 4 months down the line. Maybe Sammy is kind of a meantime feud for Trick, and Mello does his open challenge, etc. But I don't know. I said there's a few ways they could fix this. Maybe just bring in completely different names to this open challenge. Or, and the only other fix is something I don't like. You have Mello in a holder for too long, and a heel wins it, and a heel ends the open challenge. Because if a face wins this again, they're just going to feel obliged to keep it going as well. It kind of has to be a heel to end the open challenge, right? So I just don't understand. If Trick went on to win it, yeah, he would probably turn around and be like, well, fuck that. I'm just doing an open challenge. Why should I defend the title every week? Like, fuck that. I don't know, man. I know Mello's strength is his wrestling. But he's got promo as well. He's got star power. He's got the look. He's got everything. He's got everything you need. Mello is definitely a future star if they handle him right. I don't think he's the future star. I would still think that's Oda. And then I would probably put Braun Breaker and Dominic Mysterio just below them. But I think Mello's that far off. He's definitely the category. This just, I don't know. I don't think it's it for me. Anyway, after that, we had Johnny Gargano do his entrance, but Candice LeRae, to say as well, Candice LeRae looked great tonight. That's probably my favourite look I've ever had of her, like I've ever seen on her. She came out with like this ripped shirt, and the all in leather and stuff. Yeah, I don't even honestly remember when they went heel. It just seemed like it happened like that. It was so weird. There was no Ciampa tonight, but I love the OM. I love all three of them. Candice LeRae, I said this in the 2025 review. I don't understand why she's not wrestling more. It's the same with Zelina. It's the same with Nikki Cross. It seems like when these women are paired with men as like kind of a manager figure, or just kind of like in the case of Nikki Cross, a team member, they're just forgotten about. They never wrestle again. I don't get it. But anyway, Gargano comes out with Candice. Before Mallow come out, we had a Ray Phoenix and Trick Williams said Ray Phoenix was talking to Nick Aldis backstage, basically saying it's great to be back. And yeah, it is. Good to see you, Ray. Where the fuck's he been? Where has he been, man? This guy's great. Like, he kind of had a team with Andrade that was fresh. It was just made, and they were doing really well. They were thrown together in the build up to SummerSlam. Then they were in the TLC match. Did great. Of course, Andrade and left for AEW. I don't know if he got released or whatever, actually. There was a big furore with WWE kind of, I don't know, we won't go into that. They gave him like a no compete contract. And I think they might be sorting that out behind the stage, backstage. Some people theorizing maybe Andrade would come back. Is there a possibility to get Brie Phoenix to the side while they're considering that? I don't think so. I think they just shit the creative for the most part. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. How Ray Phoenix has not been in one of these open challenges yet, I do not know. Yeah, it was good to see him. They got interrupted by Trick Williams. I don't even remember what Trick was ranting about here. But he ended up arguing with Ray Phoenix. Basically told him to shut up. I think Ray said, listen to Sammy, you need to be humbled. Trick told him, shut up. I'm like twice your size at one point. Nick Aldis was the one actually who said that. Yeah, I think he was like, yeah, maybe should be humbled. So we set up a match between the two next week. I'm in Berlin. I'm excited for that. Trick Williams' SmackDown debut and Ray Phoenix's return after what feels like months out. It's not months out, actually. I'm talking nonsense. Wasn't he involved? Was it him, Shinsuke, Sammy, and someone else versus the MF teams while the Wyatts were doing the Mexico shit? Yeah, maybe he was in with that. I don't know. I mean, it shows how much I paid attention to that story. Just didn't give a fuck. despite having a lot of people in there that I enjoy. But I'm excited for that match next week. After that, we have Melo's entrance. This was a good match. Gargano vs Melo. I mean, I knew it would be. I thought it was going to be an option night, but I still think that was the main event. Um, but yeah, both of these guys can go. And I do think it started kind of slowly. Gargano was mostly in control early on. Candice was doing unusual heel shenanigans to help. I think at one point, um, Mello might have got legit pissed off by he's kind of hanging on the bottom rope, his chin down like that. I think Candice dragged his face down a little too hard on the chin, on the neck. And he kind of like had some crosswords. I don't know if that was just face, face arguing with the heel kind of thing. But I got the impression that that might have just been a legit, like, well, what the fuck you doing? That was too. Some good spots in this match. The fadeaway leg drop from Mello at one point was great, I think. There was a frog splash that he did on Gargano where for a second, I don't know if he's selling here. It looked like he may have hit his ribs. He was holding them a little. But it's definitely an impactful match. Gargano come off with a really good counter slam off the turnbuckle at one point. He kind of twisted Mello on the landing. It was like a twist and suplex kind of thing. We had a commercial. Believe it or not, so many of these matches have two commercial breaks and it's just pissing me. I don't know how the fuck you American viewers deal with it. It's so annoying. During the commercial break, I'd managed to switch to the laptop in time this time. The first thing I saw is Carlo Hayes getting flung into the mid turnbuckle face first, what looked like. And that one looked too hard as well. Again, it's wrestling, shit happens, miscues happen, and it was intentional by any means. And I'm not going to say it detracted from much. I think it's just a miscommunication of sorts. Perhaps it wasn't. I don't know. Because Gargano's nose was bleeding. And I don't know what caused that. But immediately after that as well, they did a couple of they traded a couple of stiff blows. And at one point I'm thinking, oh god, is this turned into a bit of a shoot? And then the match kind of calmed down a bit. Who knows? Maybe I'm just a fucking mark. Just a, I'm an experienced wrestling watcher. Maybe it's just the camera angles and they just look great and they just back up strikes. But I feel like there was a receipt in there from Mello. I didn't actually see because the commercial timing of the fucking commercial break. I didn't actually see what drove his face into that mid turnbuckle. But damn, it hit it straight on. And yeah, I think he gave a really stiff right back to Gargano as a receipt. Maybe he didn't give him warning, and I think Gargano kind of went a bit hard on him in return. And then Mello kind of followed into the ropes with a drop kick that also looked a bit flush. After that, I kind of chilled out. Both men went down after a double clothesline, I thought. Again, some back and forth before Mello sealed the win with first 48 into his little leg drop off the rope. Forget the name of that move. Was it Mellow de Miz? Maybe. This was given sufficient time. Unlike the other matches, Wilson versus Ryder was maybe 5 minutes. The women's tag match had already been over. I don't think they were given near enough time as to what they should have been given. I honestly expected that to maybe be the main event when the card was announced. They should have at least got 20 minutes. This one was given about 20 minutes, and yeah, thankfully so. Both of these guys are great wrestlers. I knew it would be a banger. And it was. Like I said, it was a really nice back and forth match. Had a couple of moments that could have been a bit sus. Maybe did look like it might break down, but both men are very professional, got back to it. And Mello gets the win, makes his first successful title defense. And yeah, let this be a good reign, please. I'm sure it will be. I really hope so because I have a lot of backing of Mello. I'm very invested in him. He has the talent to make it work and make a really successful run of it. I am a little skeptical of how long this open challenge can carry on working. After that match, we had the promo. Tamatonga was seen watching this match. Shinsuke Nakamura approached him, had some words with him in Japanese. That is promo Japanese. So I don't know what the fuck they were saying. But this is a reference to their past. Tamatonga was very well known in Japan. He was in Japan for years. Wasn't he in what's the big Japanese one? Or was he in the Bullet Club or yeah, there's some like big Japanese thing over there that he was involved in for at least a decade. Like Finn Balor was as well. Funnily enough. Maybe one of the others as well. Was it Tama Tonga was there too? Either way, Solo Sikoa approached Tama and said, you okay? He said, yeah, fine. And Solo didn't say much this week. He just basically said, all right, well, spoke to Aldous next week. It's 4v4. Wyatt vs MFTs. Now let's get the fuck out of Buffalo. Yeah, Solo wasn't a fan of Buffalo, apparently. Maybe he doesn't like the Bills or something. Who the fuck knows? So, yeah, I don't think he liked the snow. He is the Tongans weren't really the natural weather that they might like, so they got the fuck out there. But yeah, next week 44, which I guess is another problem with them feuding because Nikki Cross is part of the five of the White Six, and there are no women on the MFTs. She can't wrestle, so it has to become 4v4. WWE have this very strict no men on women violence or matches, even or even moves they can do anymore, which I understand. It was obviously a far from cry from the days where I grew up watching it, the Attitude Era, where they didn't give a fuck. Man. My God, I watched Stone Cold Steve Austin against Lisa. I think it was 9 or 10 chair shots once, and they were to the back. Kind of, he wasn't going easy. I've seen Bubba Ray Dudley powerbomb Mae Young through a fucking off the stage onto a table. She was about 70 years old, so I've seen it all. But yeah, makes you think who of the MFTs is going to sit out, and you would assume it'd be Solo, which would make sense. He's kind of like the head of the family, if you like, so he sends his minions in to do it. But it just it doesn't work. I don't have any excitement for this match next week, and I hate to say that because I want them to be a success, obviously, but it's just not clicking. This is another feud that just seems to be going on and on and on, and it just won't end. It's obviously going to culminate in a tag team title match. I'd sooner they just done this next week. They had the one a couple of weeks ago that ended in no contest. I didn't watch it. Did not even watch it. It was a pre-tape show. I already knew the result. Did not care. That's how little I give a fuck about this. If I'm reviewing a show, so I guess I have to watch it. Oh my God. Yeah, moving on. We had a commercial break. Ooh, what a surprise. The only reason to talk about this one is because I was catching up on the notes on my laptop. And then I turned my head to the USA Network thing on my TV. And the first thing I saw was Deonna Purrazzo. And I was like, oh shit, is she on fucking WWE now? And then I realised within about 10 seconds she was doing an advertisement for some university on American TV. I got fucking baited, man. I would like to see Deonna at WWE. I don't even know if she's being used by AEW right now. Is she even still there? I don't know shit. But yeah, I got excited. Unfortunately. After that, I came back. We had a Damien Priest and Zelina promo. We'd had a Priest one before, so not Damien Priest Zelina promo. And Alexa Black and Zelina promo. Zelina's just betrayed Black already. Yeah, we had a Priest promo before, so we had this one. I didn't make much of a note of what he said here because it's the same kind of stuff. They're just saying, we're going to take you out. We're going to end this. We're going to put you down. We're going to ban you. I think they made a reference to the burn face he had. Fucking burn face man over here. And yeah, it was okay. It wasn't someone I really noted down. I think when you're doing a promo and a segment for a match that's coming up later, it doesn't really matter as much to pay attention to, I guess, because everything's been resolved that night. We then had cut to Kathy Kelly backstage. She was talking to Jade Cargill. Jade was supposed to wrestle on this week's show originally against Michin, but during that live holiday tour I referenced before, Michin got injured on one of the days, shoulder injury. Now, I don't know how this happened. I didn't see a clip of it or anything. I'm sure if it had been Jade's fault, we'd have heard about it. It'd have been all over the IWC because they love to hate on Jade. I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of them too. I just don't get it. I don't think there's been much improvement on her at all. I think she's just a look. You could make something of her if you gave her the right opponents, I guess. But so far, it's just not working on this reign. Anyway, she did a promo, and I do like that they turned this injury that was probably accident into what they did. Staffy said to Jade, um, "Did she get injured by the shoulder because like you targeted it? Basically, did you mean to do it?" Jade said, "Yeah, she did mean it. You know, she's put her out of action because I'm that bitch." She comes out with a little tagline she started using. My God, it's like I don't like to shit on anyone too much, but at the end of the day, I want to be honest in these reviews. And if I don't like something, I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna be one of these fucking reviewers or recappers of a nightly show or a weekly show as a block and not fucking reference. Not be honest to myself, not gas people who I don't think deserve to be. Jake Cargill is like a fucking doll that you pull the string off and it just says the same shit. Oh, all us wrestlers repeat that, but she's so robotic as well that I don't know, man. It worked with Goldberg. All he had to say was "You're next." Hers is just "I'm that bitch," but there's no expression. There's just nothing. If she's like that in ring as well, like she could, you could show a picture. Does anyone here watch football? Do you remember the famous thing where it was oh, what the fuck was his name? Phil, the Man United player, Phil Jones. There was it became a kind of a meme of Phil Jones' faces during matches, and it's just a cropped image of his face. Someone should do that with Jade in matches, and then do a game of guess what's happening here. Is she dealing out a move? Is she taking a move? You would not tell because she's never angry. She's never goading. She's never talking trash much. She's just it's the same face every time. I don't know, man. Like I didn't give a flying fuck. I didn't give a shit about this feud going into it. Like I said, I don't want to criticize too much, and I'm happy that the women's division is bringing some talent into SmackDown now. It's only Jordan Grace we got so far from the looks of, but it's an improvement. But at the same time, there are some that I would just get rid of. And Meechin, I would at least keep Jade around. Yeah, I'm not giving up on it just yet. Meechin and B-Fab need to go. I think the original plan here was for Jade to take on Meechin and B-Fab to turn on Meechin, injure her, actually, or, just beat on her. Excuse me. And then team with Jade. I think the idea maybe was to give Jade one or two henchwomen. Um, but I guess we'll never know because there's no real return date on Meechin's injury. We don't know how severe it may be. I just don't know what she's doing in the meantime. It's now 2 months to the day. Might have been 2 months to the day yesterday that Jade won the title. She's still not defended it once. It's getting pretty farcical now, man. She needs a defense soon. It doesn't matter who against, just fucking throw her in against anyone. Maybe they'll just elevate JG straight to this now. because Jordan Grace then interrupted Jade, and Jade continued talking shit. Um, and JG basically said, yeah, she's just sizing up the talent and deciding what brand she should come on. I would still expect Jordan Grace to move more to the US title scene first, or maybe just feud with Chelsea. Spoiler alert, I guess, there. Um, but we'll see. Now Meechan's been forced out. Will it just become Jade versus BFAB? They've kind of ruined that recently by the fact that Jade had beaten BFAB already in a non-title match. And BFAB kind of just kept lying down and acting really scared of Jade. Whereas Meechan was fighting back, or at least trying to. So who knows? Who knows where that goes? After this, we had a backstage segment again. There were a lot of these tonight. I guess 3 hour show, you got to fill some more. Cody and Sammy. Not much happened here. It was just kind of your standard Cody saying, "Oh, I heard your promo." Cody's looking all glum and angry all show at this point. He had a bit of a gob on when he talked to Randy. Same here. It's kind of scowling a bit. Didn't look happy. And he basically, I wouldn't say warned Sammy off, but he was saying, "Well, I'm here. Like, I'm the one to beat." After that, we had another commercial. Recap, like, how fucking ridiculous this shit is, by the way. When I'm looking at it now, in my notes. Commercial. 3 minutes. Free Selena promo. JJG promo. Cody Sammy promo. Another commercial. Then we came back. After that, we had Cody in the ring, though. Cody comes out. His entrance is always big. And gets real crowd support. Man, when he started this promo, to my reference, he was kind of looking fucking angry all show. They've been shades at this recently. He was really kind of angry in a lot of ways and cutting promos that I feel like were on the borderline of heel. Truth be told, he's been doing this for months. It flashes up more in phases, but just constantly on the cusp. And I mean, it may well be intentional. I think it's Cody at his best. He delivers promos better that way, where he's still face, but he does get angry and he's not afraid to really mix it and do heelish things and say heelish things and say in heelish ways. But yeah, I'm not gonna quote verbatim because, to be quite honest, I don't remember exactly what he said word for word at this point. But I remember getting the sense that it was borderline heelish, and I think the fans started kind of murmuring almost in unity, in can you think of the word now? In agreement with me, I guess. He was interrupted, however, by Drew McIntyre. Came over the Tron. He was outside. This is where we saw it was fucking freezing in Buffalo tonight. See the snow outside. Drew holds his hand up at one point. It looked fucking red raw. You could see his breath coming up. It was obviously minus weather. But hey, thought occurred to me, I guess if there's any foreign star besides Ilya who could handle that kind of weather and just not give a fuck, it's the Scotsman. Drew just don't really give a fuck about it. Well, and I guess Nikki Cross as well, piping in. Yeah, he was backstage and he finally announced the well, my brain's fucking slow, man. It's 25 to 6 in the morning. The stipulations for next week's match. Next week is the WWE Championship match. It's going to be 3 stages of hell. I'm excited for this one. They had to do something like this because how many times you talk about long feuds? Like holy shit! I went on a real rant about this in my 2025 review because this has basically been SmackDown's main event scene since August. There was one random week where they put Cody up against Aleister Black, and it was threatening to be a banger. About 10 minutes into it, and Drew interrupted. I think was that the week he. No, I don't think that was the week he kicked the ref. He interrupted. They beat down and Cody, and then Priest come out and helped even it up. I think. Besides that, it's just been Cody and Drew, and it's just hating Drew because it's not that the stuff they've done together hasn't been good. I think there've been times where it's not been great. The whole first month of that feud basically was just all Drew because Cody was off filming Street Fighter. Then he came back in time for their WrestlePalooza match. But my God, they've had, is it 3 matches at this point? And Drew's won none of them. He needs a win. It's as simple as that. He has to win next week. Which is why I didn't talk too much about the Randy Cody potential feud for the belt. I don't think that'll happen for quite a while yet. Because even if Drew wins for like a week or two of something, just give him a win. He needs something. I actually fear that maybe this is a 3 stages of hell because it gives him one pinfall. As if that kind of makes it better. It doesn't. He needs to win the title, in my opinion, and I'm rooting for him to win the title. So anyway, in this promo, he talked about what format it's going to be. It's going to be a singles match first, followed by a Falls Count Anywhere, and then a steel cage match next week in Berlin. I don't mind them. I think they're decent stipulations. You can see how the match is going to go. Obviously, it's going to start in the ring. One of them will get a pinfall first. Probably be, I would guess, Cody. Then Falls Count Anywhere. It'll go into the arena and backstage. This will be the longer one. I think the first single one it'll be like less than 10 minutes a pin. This one will take about 20 minutes or so, I think. Drew will obviously win this one. I think he'll win it by the time they're like close to back to the ring. They've kind of worked their way all around the arena, backstage, and then back towards the ring. And then he'll get the pin. The cage will be down by that point, and he'll throw him into the cage, and then they're both locked in, and then whoever comes out. And then that'll be like the last 10, 15 minutes or whatever. And so he outlined these stipulations. He then revealed that the Cody bus is behind him, the Cody tour bus, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he went inside. Cody Rhodes needs to get a better lock for this fucking thing, man. How many times has Drew McIntyre just gone there now? It's going to be at least 3 times, I think. It's fucking ridiculous. They keep raiding each other's vehicles. Cody did the same to Drew at one point. Yeah, he just got in there and stole a picture of Cody and his father, Dusty. This is from Cody when he was. It looked like in his legacy days. It was young Cody and novice Cody. He smashed it on the floor, broke the frame. Cody comes out to backstage. Everyone's kind of getting in his way, trying to stop him going out, finding Drew. At this point, Drew's made his way to the ring. He's obviously circled around and is holding up the photo. And a trash can invites Cody to come back to the ring. Well, Cody does just that. And then Drew bans the photo right in front of him as Cody's being held back from entering the ring. Of course, the whole stipulation here is that Cody can't touch Drew before. This is something they've done before, man. They did it right before. Was it Wrestling Palooza? I think it was Saturday night's main event. I think it was their. I want to say that was their third match, actually. Maybe it was the second. I think it might have been their third. They did the exact same thing in the build up, so I don't like the fact they've done that again. But listen, I thought the segment was fun. It entertained me. I was sports entertained. I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of cheapy. It's nothing ingenious. It's kind of shit we've seen before, but still, it was effective. And I just had to laugh at the bit where Cody's kind of being held back by everyone just outside the ring. Drew literally comes over. He's like, put his hands on the bottom row. He's right in his face, just talking shit. I love Drew McIntyre, man. He's great. Cody Rhodes is great too. So I'm hoping for a banger next week. So that he had, would you guess it? A commercial. Chelsea Green versus Julia US Championship match. Chelsea comes out. Her gear made me laugh. I fucking love Chelsea. She's just hilarious to me. Like, even when she's not trying to be. Like here. She comes out with the gear. She's got the America, Mexico, and Canada flags on it. Because she's the North American triple champion. So, like, her work with Ethan's been great. I love both of them. So, any reference to that, I'm a fan of. And then waited with bated breath because Julia come out next. I knew she was coming out. And I thought, please, come on, Buffalo. Give her some support. She come out to crickets. And it's just a sad moment. I was like, this is how it's going to be then. Fuck. It's just no reaction when she come out. Like, nothing at all. I don't know if it's her entrance kind of takes a while to get going, as you can tell I'm a bit sniffy here, so I'm not going to try and replicate this, but it's the slow. And then she comes out. It doesn't really kind of get going in a way a lot of others do, where it's bang, start, kind of just goes. But she come out to like no reaction. Thankfully, though, once the match did start, the crowd did, I wouldn't say come alive. It was more, what's the best word here? A smattering of reaction here or there. Chelsea did a suicide dive that looked like it was kind of a bad landing. It was kind of a heavy landing on Julia, I think. After Julia started like a house on fire right from the off, before basically as the bell went, she ran straight rope to rope and drop kicked Chelsea. I don't know anything more about Julia. She's really trying here to like up the ante and just up the pace and stuff to try and get over. That's just how she is. And one thing I'll say for overall impression of this match before we get into like set spots and stuff is Chelsea's a good wrestler. She's not great. I'd say she's in like the mid range for the division. But bear in mind this is like the best women's division on the planet. She looked like she was struggling to keep up with Julia. She looked tired, legit, and this wasn't a particularly long match. I don't know if she took an especially rough landing at some point, got winded. I didn't really see that, but you can't always see that. Look at Blake Monroe and Thea Hale recently. It doesn't take that much to get completely winded. But yeah, she by the end of it just looked worn out. Not as much as Julia. It's just go, go, go. And this is why it just baffles me and it baffles so many people that she's not giving reactions. How did she come out to crickets? At one point, they did kind of give a minor crowd rally for her. This was during another fucking commercial, by the way, which pissed me off. Man, to say that I've summarised these, look how fucking ridiculous this shit is on my notes. We had the Cody Sammy promo, commercial. Cody Drew segment, commercial. Chelsea Julia, it got about fucking 2 minutes into it. Commercial. The fuck? Like, unbelievable. So our US viewers may have missed that part, but during that commercial break, Julia regained control after Chelsea had done a suicide dive on the outside and threw her back in the ring. And there was finally a little bit of reaction. It was a real small portion of the crowd. I could tell there was like a group of people there, of fans who were all together, and they were pretty close to ringside, and they were all really back at Julia. They were like the voice of the IWC, because it's weird with Julia. It's kind of the opposite to Jey Uso. Jey Uso comes out in the arena, and everyone fucking loves it. They're all yeeting all these kids. And then you go on the IWC, which is more like I guess you could say it's a mix of basement dwellers, fucking super fans, the smart fans, people who just take it real serious, people who just have more time on their hands perhaps and stuff, people who are just extra passionate about wrestling, whatever combo, whatever way you want to bracket them. There's be people from all sorts of groups on the IWC. Is the IWC the more minor reflection of fan opinion, or is the live going crowds? It's hard to tell, man, because for whatever reason, this was a rare occasion. But it really made me smile because I saw Julia give a natural, genuine, almost surprised looking smile. Oh, my heart just went. I was like, I want to hug this woman right now because you could tell how much it genuinely meant to her. But just a small smattering of some, oh, come on, Julia, let's go, smatter. So bless those fans who were there because I'm glad, it's got to get on. Yeah. When you're coming out week in, week out to no reaction, it's got to give doubts and stuff. I don't want to see this woman give up or just stop trying or just say, oh, whatever, cut and loss, fuck this company, I'm going to AEW or something. I guarantee AEW would make this woman a star. They would absolutely recognize, they would put everything behind her and put her in with the right opponents from the off. So yeah, I mean, at one point as well, she also started kind of just doing claps, trying to get the fans going, and it didn't take off. It wasn't like something like if someone like Alexa, who always gets cheered, regardless, say if the crowd's dead and she started doing it, they would all come alive. Oh, Alexa's doing it. We've got to. She asks, we'll deliver. It wasn't that kind of reaction, but it was something. Julia got some of them going, got a bit of noise going. Um, and, Chelsea always gets reactions. She's well liked. So I was glad to see the crowd was getting into it more. Chelsea did the Matt Cardona finish at one point. I don't know what the name is of it, but she kind of did that rising leg drop and landed on it. But the count wasn't made. The camera angle was such that you didn't see the referee. But Kiana James, who was ringside, of course, along with Alba Fire, she's Kiana's and Julia's side. She stopped and distracted the ref. Alba, of course, gets involved, gets the ref back, and well, by the time the ref's turning around, Julia's taking control. She did a very good move where she kind of hooked Chelsea's head under her shoulders and then did a flip. Suplex off the top rope. Into the arrivederci, she Northern Lights powerbomb, and then she wins 1, 2, 3. Wins the US title back. Did I expect her to win this match? Yes, I think she kind of had to. To be honest, I don't really know why she ever lost it. Man, I don't think I got more annoyed by anything in the entire of 2025 in WWE. And like I said, I think in large places, the show was fucking dog shit in 2025. It really was. It had bad moments. But that defeat in 98 seconds she took to Chelsea was just so horrendous. And it kind of like summed up her first reign, which was just a disaster. Well, I'm hoping this one's better. I just don't know where she'd have gone if she lost this match. So her winning's fine. Chelsea can lose. It's fine. She's got the Triple A championship. People like Chelsea. She's great. I don't think she necessarily needs the belt. And she did a great run in her first reign anyway. There was some applause as she won, I guess. She kind of like took the title up the rope and then did the pyro. There wasn't too much, though. So hopefully this is a springboard. As I said, Jordan Grace is looking likely to be on the roster now. I think that would be a start if you do a program between them, because that works more. I mean, this was heel versus heel too tonight, which is always kind of awkward when it comes to crowd reactions. I would say Julia behaved more like the heel in this match. But Jordan Grace is a face, so this will work out nicely. That is the direction I would go in. As for Chelsea, what for her? I don't really know. I think she'll continue mixing more in NXT with Ethan. and then hopefully he comes on the main roster soon. After this, and again, I can't believe I'm saying this because I love all these women, especially Alexa, but Alexa, Charlotte, Rhea, and Io had a promo. And man, was this awkward and just pointless. And I hated it. Kathy Kelly's there. She's interviewing Rhea and Io. They're just talking about next week's match. Charlotte and Alexa approach. And as Alexa starts talking, just wanted to say to you, Rhea cut her off and basically said, "Oh, don't tell me. You're going to say we're going to be next in line once you win." And Charlotte says, no, we're just here to wish. No, I think Alexa says, we're just here to wish you luck. And that's it. They had a little back and forth. Charlotte in the end was like, oh, yeah, but we are coming for it. Yeah. Kind of like friendly rivalry. They're playing up to this as well. They're still kind of throwing passive shade at each other, but it just come across as awkward, man. Also, the hypocrisy. I mean, Rhea wasn't wrong, to be fair. This exact promo has happened quite a few times recently, but I blame more the um the creative or lack of creative in them. Why do this? It served no purpose really. It was the exact same thing they did last week, which led to this match. Basically, they kept doing it over War Games as well. These women deserve better. This one, like, it was just. I hope this was taped immediately after that match. Rhea appeared on the show again, so I don't think so. If they kept these women around backstage for about another hour and a half just to do this, then fucking shame on them. The irony of Rhea trying to cut someone off, especially someone who is normally as good on the mic as Alexa. You know, Alexa could run rings around Rhea on the mic any day. She run rings on anyone on the mic on a best day. But the irony of Rhea cutting someone off, I know what you're going to say in this promo. When Rhea, for the best part of years now, has just come out and basically said, I'm going to win back that title because Mammy's always at top. That one kind of struck me a bit. I don't know. Like I said, I don't like to hate on them. I fucking love her. Yeah, I love all of them. This was just awkward. And what came next was also awkward. I put that on my notes. I put caps letter both times. Awkward. Corey Graves is saying something. I wasn't even paying attention, so I was catching up on my notes. And then I just heard Michael Cole just completely cut across him. Went, yeah, we can't talk about that. We're going to move on. I don't know if Corey was given a spoiler or saying something he shouldn't have been doing. I don't actually know. Maybe I should watch that shit back. I did catch Corey Graves' reaction. Oh man, did he look pissed off? He'd see him walk away. He was like, oh, fuck it. Michael Cole doesn't give a fuck or didn't notice. He just looked at the camera, carried on, giving a spiel, and basically directed the show away. Yeah, I don't know what that was. They kind of butted heads for a moment. But man, was that like an awkward couple of minutes of TV. After that, we had a commercial. Surprise, surprise. Then we come back and had Johnny Gargano's backstage, still bleeding from the nose. He's wiping that up. This is most likely filmed just after his match with Mello. Fraxim approached. I don't know why these guys aren't used more. Just like Ray Phoenix, just like so many others. Like, they're great. Absolutely amazing. It looks like they've set up a match for next week because Gargano still has Axim's mask, and Axim asked for it back, and Gargano refused. He hid behind. He said he wasn't. It just happens to be where he stood. But he basically hid behind us. He gave the mask to his wife, hid behind her, and said, "I'll take it off her." This guy knows. This guy knows that non-violent rule I talked about before. They wouldn't go with that shit in the Attitude Era. They'd probably put her through a table, took it back. Yeah. Maxim challenges. Well, it's not actually been announced yet, but it's going to happen. He said he's going to go speak to Nick Aldis, set up a match, and take his mask back. So that should be a banger. Gargano, Champ, all of these guys are great wrestlers. Any combination of them wrestling, I'm always invested in. And I'm looking forward to this one. After this, finally came the main event. Oh, excuse me. Ugh, my blocked nose, like kind of the last vestiges I've had of a cold are really kind of coming to the fore. Oh, apologies. I'm trying to get through this. I didn't suffer as much as these men because, damn, man, was this match a banger. Once it was announced as main event, it's kind of halfway through the show, I had a feeling they would give them quite a lot of time, and it could be great. And it was. First and foremost, a match like this, ambulance match, and it's the first time they've had that in years, apparently. It has to feel brutal. You know, you have to kind of use a lot of props and a lot of things that would make sense. And I thought they did this to perfection. They didn't overdo it. It wasn't just, you know, weapon after weapon after weapon, but they spread it out a little more and really kind of accelerated as the match went on. And I thought the match did just really accelerate in general as it went on. Really, really good. I want to say first and foremost, I really like both of these guys. You know, I still have a lot of faith in them. I've been critical of their feud in the past, as I said at the start of the show, because it just it went on way too. It's been like at least 4 or 5 months. It's another feud just didn't know to end, how to end. It seems like it has done tonight. And at the end of the day, a lot of times people only remember the end of something. And if that is how they're going to remember it by this ending, then they've done a good job. This is great. Black's entrance with Zelina is something I really enjoy. I kind of like the almost from Dusk Till Dawn. It reminds me of Sam Hayek's character from Dusk Till Dawn, Zelina. Kind of the look, the image, the dark lipstick, and look, yeah, hair. The hair's black and white and all that shit. And she's kind of Latina, looks like that. It kind of reminds me of that. And it really just obviously fits with Black's natural image. Um, he was always that way. He's Mordecai and then Black in AEW and Black in WWE. Some idiots will come out and say, "Oh, it's stolen from Karrion Cross and Scarlett." No, he's been doing this shit for years, man. It's just been a good move, I think, putting Zelina, pairing Zelina with him. Just like I said before, I hope it doesn't suddenly mean Zelina's just never going to fucking wrestle in the women's division again. The only match she's had since they teamed up was paired against Rhea Ripley and Priest. This match uh, began at the ambulance, I think. Well, it began right from the off, actually. Priest was still doing his entrance on the turnbuckle, top turnbuckle, and Black attacked him. And they quickly ended up back up the ramp. Priest used a stretcher, drove it right into Black's midriff. Then we had a commercial. Go fucking figure. Back to ringside, there was Meteora from Black to Priest through a table at one point. I mean, that was pretty good. It was at that point the crowd really started kind of getting into it. But obviously they weren't paying much attention to it because not too long later they started shouting, "We want tables." You fucking stupid twats. There've been 2 table spots actually, because after the Meteora through the table, Priest later sent Black across the announce table. It's like, are you serious? There've been tables involved, 2 already. I guess the stretch is kind of a table. Yeah. Yeah, there were some other nice spots in this one. Priest did a Frankensteiner, which, you know, for a man of his size, is kind of fucking crazy. And it looked good. You know, it looked fine. Black got a lot of distance off the Steiner as well. After that, we had another commercial. There was a black mass delivered just before that, actually. And, you know, very much trading offense a lot. I would say Black was on top more than Priest, but it's kind of natural. He's the heel. And he had Zelina there, who, to be fair, didn't get too involved until around this stage of the match. Black sent her to get the stretcher, bring that down. Just before that, actually, there was another spot that was kind of notable, I think. Black put Priest's head on a chair and she kicked the chair underneath him and he just fucking went down and sucked shit. Then he brought him around to the ring after that commercial break. Zelina wheeled the stretcher down. There was another meteor from Black through the stretcher. Well, I say through, it didn't break, but onto the stretcher. Zelina fetched the chair. Black continued to deal more punishment and then tried to wheel Priest up the ramp. You can see him kind of struggling with this. Um, and yeah, I mean, Priest's a big guy. He's like, how big? 6'7" at least, I would say. 6'8", I think he is. Probably about 300 pounds. Wheeling that up an actual ramp, I don't think Black was just selling this. I think he was legit, like, fucking finding a task to wheel him up here. They stopped halfway. Well, stopped a few times actually. Priest kind of like coming to a bit, grabbing the throat. And Black keeps beating him down to try and keep him down. Got him all the way up to by the ambulance, just parked at the top of the stage. Zelina opened the ambulance, and just before she did that, I had a thought. Is this the moment? Is she inside? Sure enough, there was a woman inside. It was not who I thought it would be. And for the third time this show, I cannot believe I'm saying this. I was disappointed in something Rhea Ripley was involved in. Not Rhea's fault here. Um, she was inside the ambulance. She chased Alina down to the ring, basically removed her from the match by catching up with her and delivering a riptide. Match carried on for about another 10 minutes after that. Alina was just dead, apparently. She's gone. It even cut. It never really showed you the ring much on the camera again. You kind of saw it sometimes in wide shots, and it was just empty. So Rhea's obviously just thought, well, my work's done. Fucked off. Zelina's just out of it. And the match carried on. I'll explain why that annoyed me at the end. After that, Priest was finally put inside the ambulance by Black. Black was kind of just watching Rhea chase Zelina. The fuck? I guess we're going to do this on my own. Puts him inside, gets him fully in, closes one door, almost closes the other. It's about to close. Of course, Priest kicks out, flings Black back, comes out with a crutch, beats him down on that. And he went behind the stage, kind of to the side, and brings out, I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be some, I mean, we know it became, it was tables. So I guess the crowd were right in the end. They did get more tables. But I don't know if it's just supposed to be some kind of medical looking thing. But it was basically two tables together, like with shit on it. He wheels that out, puts it in front of the back side of the ambulance, where the doors are facing. They then fight around the side of the ambulance. Priest launches Black into the ambulance side at one point after Black tried to do the same to him. They fight around to the front of the arena, or kind of the side of the arena almost. Really reminded me of the old school WWE games, this. The way they like interact with the arena. It's really cool. Yeah, when matches are done like this and they're not done too often, they can work. Priest, Black, managed to get back on top. Wheeled out this, what looked like kind of a dumpster. However, Priest turns it round, grabs Black, as if he's going to do the Razor's Edge move he does. However, I thought this was a fucking great spot. The dumpster's there. The front of the ambulance is there. He kicks the dumpster away from him like that, and then turns around and does the Razor's Edge onto the windscreen, which you could see cracked. CM Punk, calm down. I'm sure it wasn't real glass. But then Jungle Jack Perry likes that one. Yeah, you can see a crack. It's obviously like sugar glass or rather that'll break. Whatever the fuck it is, you can see a crack. But still, it was quite impactful. And it got holy shit chants from the crowd. The crowd already by this point at this match was chanting, "This is awesome." Right they were. They weren't done yet though. He picks up Black. At this point, he could put him in the ambulance and finish it. But he has other ideas. He puts him on the windscreen, climbs up, takes him onto the top of the ambulance. Uh, Priest is grabbing Black, goes to the back of the ambulance, and then throws him through the tables that were at the back of the ambulance still. Climbs down from the ambulance, picks him back up, throws him in the back of the ambulance, closes the doors, closes the side door that had been open, used as a weapon before, and the match was over. And yeah, man, like, this was great. This is very, very good. I think both of them are good wrestlers. Priest, at the end of the day, was a world champion in the past. He did have a lot of fan support. For whatever reason, once he moved to SmackDown, he just kind of died. I mean, SmackDown is definitely the way it showed, but um, it's on them at the end of the day. If you take someone who's hot and make him as cold as he's been for a lot of 2025, that's on you. Um, but this was a great start to 2026 for him, wrapping up this feud with great performance from both men. I want to see where they go next. Maybe they'll be involved in the US Open Challenge. They're obviously feud with. I wouldn't mind a Sami Zayn Alistair Black feud, but I guess they've maybe teased Sammy and Trick for after Trick. I expect him to beat Ray Phoenix next week. After that, maybe. The one thing I didn't like about this match was the fact it was Rhea in the back. And there's no hate on Rhea. Maybe I'm just a fool who got suckered in by the internet thing. But earlier today, it was I wouldn't have been as bothered about this at all if I didn't see a picture from about 5 hours before the show where it went live. And it was Lola Vice had posted a photograph. Well, no, someone had screened it from something. Maybe they took it from my Instagram or something. Might have been one of the stories. I don't know. But I saw it on Twitter. And she put in the caption, I'm so happy right now, but I wish I could say why. Well, I assumed that meant maybe Lola, who is dating Priest in real life, is going to debut on the show tonight by helping Priest win this match. Because it would have made so much sense. You know, Alistair Black, the last time they had a main event, the one in Perth, the last man standing, Black won that by having Zelina kind of debut as a team up with him. Zelina interfered right at the end, helped him. Oh, that's another thing they did in the show, actually. In this match, apologies. Zelina helped Black win that match by letting Priest place some fire hooks to Defiable. Priest did the same thing to Black towards the end of this match. He lit up some fire right in his eye. It helped them gain the momentum in that last salvo, basically. I expected that from Lola. Well, more fool me. So the fact that when the doors opened, there was a woman there. It wasn't Lola, but it was Rhea. Just a bit bummed, man. Because, yeah, I'm not even the biggest Lola fan, actually. I don't mind her at all. I'm not sold on it yet, but I'm open to being sold on it. That makes sense. You know, there are some people you just don't want. You've given up on. I'm not nowhere near there with Lola. But similarly, I'm nowhere near as like far along to being sold on Lola as someone like I don't know, an Izzy Dane. I'm still not like I wouldn't say an Izzy Dane fan, but I'm more open to her than Lola. Because for now, all I see in Lola is her character is just cute. It could work, you know. You've seen other characters that are kind of as one dimensional as that before, still do well, but I still want to see more from her. However, I do think SmackDown would have been much better off with it there, and it needs more the women's division than just Jordan Grace, which is all we've gotten so far. If you're going to debut and bring up call ups, I guess they got Lash Legend as well recently, but still, we need more, man. Need more. You know, where's Jada Parker as well? If she's going to go anywhere, I'd imagine she goes on Raw because she's dating Jay Uso. Jade and Lola had kind of had nothing left to do. I mean, I guess they've never won the NXT Championship, but it seems like Jace Jane's got a stranglehold on that anyway. And I feel like she's just keeping it warm for long term Blake Monroe to take it. It's disappointing, man. I think a lot of fans were kind of getting on the idea and those build up hours of, oh shit, might be Lola's time to come up. She would have been good to have in the US title scene. You know, she could have done good work with the likes of Chelsea. I could see a really nice feud in that. Um, they could have maybe, I think Priest and Black should always have ended tonight. But I like the narrative as well, that it kind of come full circle in Zelina helped Black win the first war they had. The second war, Lola helps Priest win. But it's twice in recent weeks they've had the opportunities to do this. Because they had the team up, they had the dual match. They could have debuted it when they had Priest versus Rhea versus Priest and Rhea versus Black and Zelina. The Terror Twins reunited for one night. I guess if they do that one time, fair enough. It's great to see the Terror Twins again. I like them a lot when they're in Judgment Day together. They always have good chemistry and good rapport. Do that one time, fine. Second time, have it be Lola. Come on. What do you do? You know, I don't get it. She could maybe have feuded with Lash after coming back. And Nia. I'm still hoping for at least one or two more to SmackDown. Maybe that'll be Sol Ruka, Zarya. They may already have plans in line. I'm thinking there's not much else for Sol and Zarya to do. Quite honestly, I'm surprised they did tip tonight. Maybe that'll be next week. Maybe some women are added to Raw and some will move from Raw to SmackDown. I've been campaigning for quite a while for SmackDown to get Bayley and Lyra. I don't get why they're not. So many times in these big PLEs recently, Bayley and Lyra are just completely overlooked. They're not even on the card. They're way too good to not have on cards, man. But they got a better shot if they're on SmackDown helping that division. So, yeah, that's one missed opportunity, I think. And I think the fact they didn't use Lola at all for any of these appearances as the woman who helps Priest leads me to think that that wasn't what she was referring to, sadly. But she had great news elsewhere, she can't say, so who knows? Maybe she is going to debut next week. I just don't expect that now. But all in all, man, great main event. It really was good. Honestly, one of my favourite SmackDown main events in quite a while. And I have to say, this might be the best SmackDown main event since the last time they faced each other. So maybe people have been a bit too harsh on this feud. It did go on a ridiculously long time. They did produce two bouts. The show as a whole, I don't typically do this as a review thing, so I don't know how to do it. Do I grade it a number? Do I grade it a letter? A B plus? An A? Let's call it a 8 out of 10. I think this was a pretty good SmackDown. I'd say the average SmackDown rating in the last 6 months has probably been like a 4 out of 10 for me. And it was over a 2 hour show. This was a 3 hour show. So, yeah, mixed bag, really, in part. But I think the main event was great. The Cody Drew segment really was nice. And also Gargano Mello. That was really good. Then some of the good promos, the Sammy and Trick part of the show I really enjoyed. Did not like a lot of what the women's tag division brought tonight for the very first time. Honestly, there's probably the first show in months and months I really just didn't like any of what they brought. So hopefully that gets fixed soon. But yeah, elsewhere, lots to like about the show tonight, and long may this continue, please. Maybe 2026 is a new leaf, is a new era. Triple H loves this shit. To be a new era. For once, he didn't say it going into tonight's one. It would have made more fucking sense if he said it than the last 8 times he said it, because you had Randy come back, but you also had Trick officially confirmed as SmackDown. We have Jordan Grace getting teased for it as well. Like, this could have been your time, Triple H. Fucking baffles me. Yeah. Nice show. Looking ahead to next week, what matches do we have set up then? There's Ray Phoenix and Trick. It looks like it's going to be Gargano versus Axiom. We have the three stages of Hell match. I feel like there was another match in there that's set up for next week somewhere that I've just forgotten about. But, like I said, Drew has to lose. How am I going to do a free show review? This one intentionally I went because I knew it was just one show I'm reviewing. I intentionally went more like detailed on segment by segments, by commercial by segment. Um, so I'll recap the other shows a little more succinctly, I think. But typically these reviews of a week, it probably will be about 2 hours, I imagine, which is kind of what I've done tonight. I don't know if I'll ever do it directly after SmackDown again, because it's 6:15 a.m. We'll see. But it's going to be a busy one next week because Raw has a big show. It's kind of like a blockbuster show on Raw as well because it's the anniversary of the Netflix deal. They're also doing a Stranger Things themed thing here. They did a Wednesday team up a while ago where they had some of the cast on Raw. I think it was actually 2 weeks in a row. Well, I guess it was both um, releases of it because Wednesday dropped in two releases and two batches. Stranger Things actually released, dropped in three, but ahead of the series finale, they're doing some kind of link up. So I imagine they've probably got some of the cast there ringside watching. I made a separate video on this channel actually. I might not just keep this to wrestling reviews. I might do a review of Stranger Things as a whole, my thoughts on the ending and stuff, because boy do I have opinions on that. It's no guarantee though. We'll see. It may also come with like tier lists and other kind of fun videos here or there if I feel like it too. But yeah, preview next week we have a big Monday Night Raw. CM Punk takes on Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. Maxime Dupree defends the Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. Dom. Was it Dom? I feel like Dom was scheduled to take on someone, but he got injured. I don't know what the other match is. There is another match there somewhere that, yeah, just completely, it's gone. They talked about SmackDown. Apologies. But there's a Fed Championship match, and it's the tag titles, like I said before. Rhea and Neo versus Kabuki Warriors. NXT next week. I don't know if anything's been announced. I don't know what to expect from that. And there's probably a reason for that. It's because there is New Year's Eve on tomorrow. Well, technically today now. I might do a review of that. In fact, I definitely will. Because I think every PLE of the year I definitely need to do. I'm just kind of thinking now, off the top of my head, should I do that like directly after the show as well? I feel like it does help because the shows are more fresh in your mind. Or should I do that on Sunday? I don't know. Depends. Because doing these like late things, it's fine if you're American. It's if you're in Europe, so late. Um, so yeah, there's going to be a lot coming. That will be before the next week's show. I'll probably do this on tonight or Sunday. And then don't know what to expect from NXT on Tuesday as well. Then SmackDown next week, we've seen the matches that come out. Now, the fact there's two World Championship matches in the same week, one each round, leads me to think that CM Punk is probably going to beat Braun Breaker. I said this on the 2025 review. I would have had Braun Breaker just win the championship after Seth was taken out. I think that was the time to crown him. I wouldn't have crowned CM Punk. on Saturday night's main event with a belt that's only was vacated because Seth Rollins was injured. I kind of hate that that's how it happened. I feel like he deserved him more. He wins it at Mania, like a big moment. I mean, I guess he technically won it at SummerSlam, but he didn't really. He got it taken off at 5 minutes in. So I kind of didn't like that and would have had Braun win it there and then. Rumor has it Braun Breaker may be winning the Rumble coming up. So if that's the case, that means he is losing coming up on Monday. And at the end of the day, I just can't see them changing both titles in the same week. Maybe they will. That'd be crazy. Crazy start to 2026. Talk about like shaking up the landscape. Having Braun Breaker win the World Championship for the first time and then having Drew beat Cody finally. If one is going to change hands, it has to be Drew because he's already taken like multiple defeats to Cody. He keeps, you talk about what Trick said to Sammy, or what Sammy said about himself as well. You can't keep saying you're going to do it and you just never do it. You've got to do it at some point. If you're making these promises and you're firing yourself up, and it's something WWE just haven't seemed to have learned with Sami Zayn and with LA Knight. But as much as all of them, Drew McIntyre's a next level. This guy's already a multiple time world champion. How much more can you damage his reputation before people can't take him seriously as a title winning, reality or possibility anymore? You're killing a potential champ. It has to change hands. Nothing against Cody and his Ray. Like, it's not been vintage, but it's not his fault, and it's not Drew's fault. They were basically left with each other because Randy's been gone. John Cena was gone, and there was just no one else built up because Road Dogg's trash. Um, yeah, it has to change hands. I don't care if it's by shenanigans. It probably will be. I don't care if. I wonder if Randy turns on Cody, actually. That would be interesting. If Randy turns heel by costing him the championship. But, what would the end goal be then? For Randy to carry on his feud with Cody? It probably would. But surely Randy would only cost him it if he had eyes on the title himself and then would go after Drew. But I don't see how them doing that because it'd be heel versus heel. Who knows? They did heel versus heel for US Women's Championship tonight, so maybe. Either way, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. I say I'm gonna do this weekly. I can't commit to everything because, like I said, some shows I just simply don't properly watch, or some shows I may watch and not take notes, or I might just watch and just not feel like doing a review that time, or I might feel bad. I actually felt bad tonight, as you can hear. I'm a bit sniffy, a bit that's super cold still. This is why I didn't do this because I did the 2025 review show last weekend, I think, or last Monday, and then Raw. I could have done the show after Raw and the show after Netflix, and I didn't because I was fucking ill. Um, I will probably do it most weeks. I don't think there's a reason why I can't. I've got the time to do this now. I've got the passion as long as the shows continue to be as good as tonight. But I wouldn't expect it like clockwork, like regular. You might get 2 a month, might get 3 a month. Maybe we'll get all 4 a month. Well, who knows? I'll probably, I intend to always do PLEs, NXT and WWE. Starting with New Year's Evil tomorrow. That looks a good card as well. I guess we'll preview that as well quickly before I go because that will actually literally be the next video I do. It's full match card. Ober versus. Oh, I should note as well, they teased Ober again on the show. They've been doing that on Raw and SmackDown. And one thing I'll say, before we move on to reviewing his match with Leon, or previewing, sorry. Uber was always going to be the big star. I think that was apparent to me the second I fucking saw him, man. The guy is just a generational talent. He's another one. I didn't know who the fuck he was until last year. About this time last year. Well, it was after the Rumble I started watching again. So obviously I didn't know who he was. He's just incredible. And I've watched back some of the stuff from before then and seen everything he's done last year. Amazing. I feel like WWE clearly had high hopes for him and believed in him because they given him monster treatment really in NXT. He came in, he won the NXT North American Championship. He went unbeaten for a long time until Tony D beat him. He then won the main championship and kind of dominated for like the next year until Ricky beat him. And then he comes back and just wins it straight back. So they always obviously had high thoughts on. But ever since his John Cena last time is now show, kind of build up he had with Cody and match itself, and the reaction he got from the fans, his entrance and everything, you can see they've really like, oh shit, this guy isn't just going to be one of the guys. This is the guy. This is the man. I think they're treating him like that now. So that is what they're doing right now with these promos, kind of keep him fresh in the main audience's minds. And the reason why I think they're doing that is I expect they're probably going to debut him at the Royal Rumble. He may even win it. I really would not mind that at all. In fact, he's probably the one I'm pulling for. I mean, there are a lot of options there to win it, or I really wouldn't mind. If Braun Breaker does lose tomorrow, sure, have him win it, it's fine. There's been talk about Roman Reigns maybe being a favourite. It's been done. And it'd be Roman Cody again, possibly. They're talking about. If Drew wins it, would it be Roman Drew? Who knows? At the end of the day, though, it's Roman Reigns. If he's winning it, like, can't complain. He's great. Everyone loves him. He's a legend. He's got however many years left doing this. I wouldn't exactly be unhappy to win, put that way. Same with a lot of people. Sami Zayn, LA Knight, if they were to win it somehow. That'd be great. But Oba would be my choice. So the fact they're going to extra lengths since that show to really like do little vignettes, just showcasing him on both Raw and SmackDown, leads me to think that he is debuting soon. They're keeping him fresh, whether it is for Royal Rumble or whether maybe he'll debut at Elimination Chamber, maybe he'll debut at Mania itself. I think it's going to be in that time frame. I think by Mania he is going to be main roster. So the only question now is who does he lose the title to? When is it going to be? Is it going to be Leon? New Year's Evil? I don't know. Maybe. I think the fact, actually, this thought only just occurred to me. The fact Zack Ryder moved from TNA to WWE tonight might be a good indicator that Leon is going to win this belt. I don't think they'd have him win the NXT belt as a TNA talent. That might sound crazy because they had JC Jane win the TNA belts and they had Trick Williams win the NXT belt as NXT superstars. I don't know if they've ever done it the other way around. No, I guess the Hardys won the NXT belts, didn't they? The tag belts, but they dropped it kind of immediately anyway. It didn't matter. Leon might have signed for WWE now. You know, maybe TNA's contracts come to a close at the end of the year, and that's what's happened. You know, as opposed to WWE typically do their releases post Mania, TNA kind of do it on a year basis, maybe. Or maybe that was just coincidence. It just happened to be when Cardona's contract was up. Um, I don't know, man. I find this one hard to call. The idea of him coming back and winning the championship off Ricky, just to drop it in his. I guess he defended against Javon the next night, but just to drop it at the next PLE kind of seems weird to me. I guess there was an ulterior motive as well in that winning it from Ricky put him in that match with Cody And maybe that was just their trial of, okay, let's see if this guy's ready to go in and do a promo with Cody Rhodes to match him, to have a match against him. I mean, he passed those tests with flying colours because, of course, he did. He's overfed. He's a fucking beast. This guy is already like a WrestleMania main event caliber star already. You could have a main event WrestleMania this year, and I would not blink. You could have him as champion, legit. Fucking do it. He is the star. So is Braun Breaker. Make them champions. Make them both champions at Mania. Honestly, I would love that. I would fucking love it. Yeah, I don't know. As much as I love Leon, I don't know if he's the one yet. I feel like maybe Obi will win and then drop it in the next couple of weeks on a random NXT to a Ricky or I don't know, even to Miles Bourne or something like that, to a Joe Hendry, to someone. Yeah, it looks like Javon's moved to um probably Raw now. So I guess maybe they want to make big things of Leon right now because he's kind of like British Javon. They're kind of like so similar. Um, it would kind of be funny if Javon just never won the NXT Championship, but then Leon is on NXT for like a day and wins it. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this match, honestly. The news reports and the way they're presenting and reminding the main roster fans of Oba makes me think he could maybe drop it. Other matches on the card, again, another one I'm not sure. I'm surprised. If you'd have told me this card a few weeks ago and I'm uncertain about it, I would have scoffed. But Blake Monroe vs. Fiam Hale in a rematch for the NXT North American Women's Championship. You would assume after the mistake, Thea wasn't supposed to win this, that Blake would automatically win this back. I don't know. I feel like they might stick with Thea. I guess they could just move Blake immediately on to go for the big belt then. Because this was all the NXT, the mid card belt was doing for her anyway. She was just holding that until she's ready to go. I mean, say ready. She's fucking main roster ready. Um, until it's time, shall we say, for her to take the main belt, she was just kind of holding this. Um, I'm expecting her to win it back. I just think it's a very serious possibility, though, that Thea keeps it and they just run with the mistake, and see what happens. Elsewhere, it's JC versus Kendall Gray. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure this is a JC retain. I love Kendall Gray. I love both of them. JC, I expect to be anywhere near as good as she was as champ. That first reign shot was great. I'm still really annoyed if I'll Tatum won it and then just go and they got to take him straight off her. Tatum's one of my favorite superstars in the entire roster. My top three favorites probably like Alexa, Blake, Tatum. So two of them are NXT. Um, yeah, both of them going from champs to like not champs in the space of weeks. It's kind of like brutal. Well, all three of them, I guess. Lost championships the last few months. But yeah, I think a lot of Kendall. I think she's great, but she's would they make the Evolve champion, who's not even officially NXT roster? Would they catapult her straight to the championship in JC's first defense after JC just took it from Tatum, who had it for like a few weeks? I didn't think so. I think that's getting a bit past the parcel at that point. I don't really see the point in it. You know, if they did that and then freed up JC to go to SmackDown with Fatal Influence, with Fallon, with Laney. I think Laney is very fortunate there. I think the other two are more than deserving of earning it. and being there. If that is the case, then why the fuck did they take it off tape in the first place? So that's what makes me think JC will retain it and stay there for longer. I feel like JC will probably hold this until Stand and Deliver, then lose it, then she'll go to the main roster. Whatever show needs it more at that point, it'll still probably be SmackDown. Was there a fourth match? What's the other match? My brain's fried, bro. Ugh, it's 6:35 a.m. now. I'm gonna have to literally Google this up. My brain's that fried because I cannot remember this other match. WWE, he is evil. I'm definitely gonna sleep after SmackDowns in future and then record like the weekly recap show. I'll probably do it on Saturday nights. It's just I couldn't do it this week because I'm watching fucking New Year's Eve. Oh wow! Apparently I'm not. It's not even on. It's on January the 7th. Bro, it's airing live as a special episode of NXT. I thought it was a PLE. The fuck? And I'm sat here previewing it like a dickhead. Well, I guess it's a notable show anyway. Fucking hell. Well, no, it's on the 6th, so never mind. Uh, I was looking at last year's, but it's the same deal. Right. Oh, that's the other match, yeah. Tatum versus Izzy. Tatum will win this. Izzy won the first one, so Tatum kind of has to win this one. I won't go too much more into that because I'm done, boys. I tried for quite long, almost as long as SmackDown tonight. Yeah, good show. Good start to 2026, and here's to a good 2026. Here's to a better one. It's not that 2025 was total dog shit, it's moments, but I hope for better. Yeah, I mean, that's just a weekly show, I guess. So the next time I'll return was in about a week, um, and it will probably be on the Saturday, and we'll recap that Raw show, big New Zealand show, big Berlin SmackDown show. There's three kind of bumper shows next week, so there should be a lot to talk about. A lot of time championships being defended as well. I got a feeling next week's show, they'll always vary in length. That's gonna be long. Even though I'm not gonna go as in detail as I did tonight, I think that'll be like 3.5 hour podcast show or whatever, maybe. So I'll see you guys then.